All right, so I'm headed to the shop. Sorry, I'm not going to look at the camera too much right now. I know, I'm driving. Oh, that is a sweet F100. Hopefully you caught a glimpse of it. Anyway, headed to my storage building where I do most of my work on my stuff. And I had a thought the other day. I was talking to one of the guys that rents a unit over there too. Also another fab guy. He's actually a marine mechanic. But he told me that he's got upgraded power in his unit. He pays a power bill there, which I don't have to because I have basic power. But if I can get extra power in my unit, that would mean that if space allows it, I don't have to tow stuff all the way down 30 miles from home to do stuff like roll cages. And that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to run in here. I'm going to talk to them and see what that entails, and I'll update you guys here. If I can get the extra power, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know what that entails or if it's even possible. The guy could be just full of it. I don't know. But he was a pretty nice guy. I don't know why he would fib about something like that. So I'm going to run in the office here, chat with them. Of course, I'm assuming they're open. I'm still about a mile and a half away. If they are up and running and open this week, it is the week of Christmas. We're very much in the Bible Belt, and a lot of things are just flat out closed this week. So, because Christmas is kind of in the middle of the week this week, so we will see what we can do on the power front. If I can get them to upgrade my power in the distribution box, it means I have more power in my unit, which means I can do more stuff, which means we'll get more done. I can run more stuff at the same time. I have power issues when I really get after it. Another thing that holds us back. But let's see what we can do about fixing it. And I'll let you guys know what they say. All right, well, that actually went pretty good. I got a pretty good deal here with these guys at this particular storage lot. Get to this gate. They're super laid back, super cool. Dude doesn't even care if you are running a business or what. He's just laid back. So went in there asking for information, and I should know some point today about getting some extra power running the unit. That Explorer right there, that's Lawrence. That dude's the only tenant here that's been here longer than me. And he is the reason that I even asked about extra power. So he's actually running 220 and all this extra power and has his own little meter and a power bill. And I'm not going there. I'm just asking to up it 10 amps so the welder don't trip the breaker so often. So that's good news. I also asked about parking stuff out front like that. Again, not tattletelling on him, just getting the rules, because a lot of these units were intended for RV storage, but actually have businesses getting run out of them. There's, I think there's 2 like specialty mechanic shops in here, and a couple restoration guys. And then of course me. I don't know if you'd call me a restoration guy quite yet. Not doing it professionally. I are mechanic. And then of course you've got like boat guys and gel coat guys, and actually the dude right next to me runs a wood shop. He's a carpenter, like furniture and stuff. And then the guy on the other side of me is actually storing just an RV. In some of the videos you can hear the AC units just going bananas in that sweat box. So that's good. We should know later today what it's going to cost. I agreed that if we do it, that I'd be on the hook, obviously, for the price of the up in the actual breaker in the box, which shouldn't be much. and I'll pay a little extra for the first month of rent. So that's fine with me. I am good to go with that. So we should have extra power soon. And sweet. I'm gonna run in here and get ready for the day and get some cleaning done. I'm sure you guys will see some of that too. Boring, I know, but we're gonna do it anyway. Man, we've got some cleaning to do. Let's get the welder set back up. Bring some stuff in from outside because that's what I need in here. More junk. Set this last piece to the Camaro cage. Precariously in a place where I can trip over it later, because that's what you do. I need to get the press moved back a little bit and get the truck set up so we can go live here in a little bit and finish up some welding inside here. Hopefully get the welding on that side done today. That'd be sweet. And got my work clothes, light, power. So right now, what we run on when we're here, a little 20 amp plug back here. I wired in this light, so it stays on all the time. And we run this little green cord on the ground all the way over here to the truck to a surge protector and run the welder off that. Super safe. Anyway, that's only a 20 amp. So we're gonna get it bumped to a 30 amp, and the welder has an inverter in it. So while I probably still won't be doing cages anytime soon, not in here anyway, we will be able to do all our sheet metal work without worrying too much, which is fantastic news for when we get to the heifer right here. She's getting a lot, but it's gonna be a cool project. We're actually gonna move this post to the dumpster, and we're gonna use two-door stuff and convert that thing. So it's gonna be sweet. Let me get this press moved, that cherry picker moved, and get ready for the day. Where today we're going to be concentrating on her, but sometime in the next week we're going to be dealing with that, which is why the press is in here in the first place. So yeah, that's where we're at, man. Back in the shop. Let me get changed, put all my Sparky stuff, shoes and clothes and stuff that I don't care about burning holes in, get a couple things out of the car, crack open the big door. We'll go live for the day. But as tradition dictates, I'll give y'all a where we are kind of deal. Last time we went live, we'd got a fair portion of this welded in. This side's mostly done. Got a couple little stitches that need to be done. We basically need to do that whole edge and the top edge today. That's the goal. Get her welded up, get this trimmed to fit, get that seam looking good. We got this overhang. That's all right. We're gonna knock that out today. Get the phone mounted somehow, some way, and probably go live, at least for a little bit of it. Phone batteries only last so long, so I'll probably do an hour and a half, 2 hours live. It is a work day for a lot of you, I know that. So I'm not gonna go crazy with the live today because most of you probably aren't gonna be able to join anyway. But it'll be archived on the page and you can see it from a point of view somewhere around here, looking down. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. See y'all in a bit, going live. Okay, so, man, my face is filthy. Anyway, live feed just ended. It was only about an hour long, but that's welded in. So I'm gonna do some grinding on it for the rest of the day, purdy it up a little bit, and then I do have to still cut one quick cut in and make some plug welds along the sill plate. As you can see here, here's where the panel stops, and there's where all the overhang ended up because of the way I worked the panel, which is good. So I'll take my flexible straight edge right in there, and I'll lay it there, and I'll draw a line, and I'll cut it, pull those bolts out, drill a couple holes, and then I'll plug weld it, and that pan will be in, and the truck will have new floor pans. Then there's a bunch of work I got to do underneath. I've got a center support that I've got to do, which is on these cabs you've got front mounts and rear mounts with a big expanse in between. And what Ford did was they put these little braces that run from sill plate to sill plate, where you enter the door. There's essentially like a unibody structure on a late model car, which is the frame of the cab. It's just a bunch of pieces of folded steel over each other, and they look like this. Granted, I've already coated the inside of this one, but this would normally run on this side, and it would go all the way over to the other side of the cab, and it's a much thicker material than the floor pans. We're not worried about the flashing on the outside, and luckily you can get these pre-folded, which again save you a little bit of money. I did buy these. There's the front cab mounts. The other one of these I've already put on the passenger side of the truck and got it all 100% dialed in on the passenger side, so it would have sat like this. And of course along here I've got to drill some holes, 2 on each one of these, and I'll actually drill the holes in the floor pan of the truck so that I can plug weld the floor pan, you know, to this, and then this will get butt welded to the existing center support that's on the truck, and that'll give the truck the rigidity that I didn't even know was missing. Because man, I gotta tell you, the doors on this truck have always closed like that. You could set the door against the striker and just go click, and it closes better than most new cars. So I had no idea all this rot was there. Previous owners didn't know. Timer. And so it was a little bit of a shock to everybody when we found all the cancer that we found, but we're getting rid of it. I do have sound deadening back there also, which we will be able to do as soon as the front cab mounts are on and the center supports are done. So that's pretty sweet. We're going to have essentially a cab that was as strong as it was the day it was built, and we're going to fill some other things also, like this heater box. Nothing in that box has ever worked, and honestly down here it's very rare that I need it. You can see my little towel there. That's what I use as my defrost. So I'm going to take that out. This truck's never had AC. It's been fine. We've done power tour with it and it was fine. So as long as you're moving, those windows actually pull in a bunch of air, and that's what we're going to go with. So that'll get deleted. A bunch of these little holes, those are for the accelerator pedal, but I've got a bunch of little dumb stuff. Those two, there's like 3 little holes that hold the heater box on. Those need to go away. There's a couple holes over here that need to go away. Just, you know, little ding dong stuff, which I want to work on over these next 2 weeks also, so that I can get to that next week hopefully. So phone call with the VA today did not go great, which it is what it is. You know, dealing with government BS and bureaucratic bull crap. It's not going to slow us down here. In fact, we just got like 2 whole additional days back because they're playing games. So the days that I was going to be missing for the VA, I'm not going to be missing anymore, so that's pretty sweet. We'll be able to get, fingers crossed, we're hoping to get most of this truck done and basically ready for reassembly over the next 2 weeks. We have already gotten it rewired. But I'm going to pull all this off so that when I pop the front clip, I'm going to mark the holes that I use for the stuff that I added. This sweet junction box and all this new wiring. I am running these little P-clamps, which are great, and this fabric loom, so that once I get all this painted, engine bay is going to be black, just a flat black, a simple flat black. While the front clips apart, we're going to paint that and move that so it'll all be this color. It'll all look nice, right? Engine will be probably Ford blue, but that's the goal for this week. Obviously, with Christmas on Thursday, my wife and I are going to be doing some other stuff Thursday, but there'll be a chance for us to film content. I've got to get the Camaro off the trailer, get this side-by-side loaded Christmas Day, because day after Christmas, I'm headed up north, and that's going to be a whole video by itself, that whole trip. I'm going to go see a couple friends, pick up a couple cars, you know, feed the beast a little bit. The deal we're finally wrapping up has been 18 months in the making, so I'm pretty excited to finally get this done. I will have to go over Ruby in the next day or two, make sure she's ready. I smell a little bit of coolant, but I don't see any leaking, so that's a concern. But anyway, that's where we ended up today. I'm gonna go ahead and do some grinding on the floor pan. I may pop on here and show you where that ended up. Of course, I'll still have some pinholes, but we're not going to worry about those right at this second. Matter of fact, I see one now. We're not going to worry about those right this second. I need to get this thing covered in some kind of primer so it doesn't start flashing again and start rusting. But we'll worry about pinholes after we get these front center supports done, because I've got to blow the front clip apart, because that chunk that is just kind of dangling there, that's the remnants of one of the front cab mounts, and that's the other front cab mount there, which I have purchased those also. Another fun fact, this being a 66, you can't buy these for a 66, so I bought these for a 70, which is a bump side pickup for all you kids following along. But the front cab structure is the same, so that should work just fine. New rubber, new bolts and hardware, sound deadener, chassis saver for the front frame horn. So we got a lot going on. Gonna wrap up the front of the chassis stuff, hopefully before the motor slides in. The goal is to have the chassis coated from the frame horns where the bumper mounts to the back of the cab before we put the drivetrain back in, because I can blowing the bed off this thing, super simple. I can do that anytime. And I do need to weld that notch that's back there. It's a bolt-in notch, but I don't like that, so I'm gonna weld it in. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna do some grinding. See y'all in a few. Also, we hit 200 subscribers. Which was my goal by Christmas, and we did it like 3 days early, so thank you to all of you. I'm gonna call this video done for today so I can do some prep and actually bring you guys something worthwhile tomorrow. We had a lot of holdups today. I had the neighbor in my units here, super nice dude, but for like an hour and a half, so hard to film. And he is very content carrying on the entire conversation alone in front of you. But yeah, he's just one of those guys. And then of course I spent forever and a day dealing with VA stuff that was a complete waste of time. So that's neither here nor there. My time in the Army was a brief portion of my life, so I'm not going to bring it up a whole lot here. Actually, probably never. That was just what I did earlier today. So, and it's not who I am now. I'm not going to let a few years of my life define who I am forever. So, here is where we're at, the mess that I've made over the last month or so. And I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning. It's not going to look much different to you guys. But I'm gonna do some cleanup back here for the rest of the day, and then do some cleanup inside Lola today. Get some of that stuff ground down and prepare for tomorrow. Put some etching primer on that bad boy that we just welded up so it don't flash. And tomorrow I'll probably just be pulling this front clip. Probably mount the camera instead of on that glass, on this glass somewhere up high, so hopefully the whole thing can be seen. We're gonna blow this front clip apart in the next day or two in order to get some stuff knocked out on it. I do have a piece of rust that I had found like 2 years ago down here. Let's see if I can. It should be super easy to fix. Of course, I gotta remember where it's at, but it's in the core support somewhere. I do remember that. Which the core support's gonna get painted flat black. And again, the color of the truck, I have a paint scheme in my head of what I want, but it's gonna look like this with this ugly red and white for a little while. And it's not ugly. I'm just angry at it because when I went to Power Tour, 3 other trucks that looked exactly like this parked next to me, unprompted. And that was upsetting to me. So, always on the pursuit of standing out just a little bit, even if you've got 8 Honda Civics in the same parking lot. It used to be a 99 and 2000. All 8 of them would be completely different. I'm just trying to carry that on. We don't do that anymore, and it drives me bonkers that everybody gets on the internet and does the exact same thing. What happened to individuality? So I'm bringing old school cool back, and yeah, that's where we're at, guys. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, hit subscribe, drop a comment. It's always good to talk to you. I'll see y'all on the next one.